Hey, what's up guys? It's Phil. Welcome back to 3D Japan. And this time Sunlu has sent along their Filadrier S4. We're going to be taking a look at this. And they also sent along 4 spools of filament that we'll be looking at. And this is, I think they called it a material shelf or something, but I was looking all over online and I figured out it's actually, I think, a spool holder. That'll sit on the table, or it looks like it can mount on top of your printer or something like that. So anyway, let's roll the intro, and during that I'll get this unboxed and put it out here and we'll take a look at it. Alright, we got that out of the box. It was basically just some styrofoam on top and bottom and a bag. So let's take a look at this spool holder first. Okay. Oops, some foam. Got some instructions and some screws and T-nuts and the holder. And it does expand, so you can do a really skinny roll or a larger one, so that's pretty cool. Okay, and so that's it. Let's see how this holds a spool. That's too big. Here, do it up here. Okay, seems to work. A little tricky to get it seated right on the wheels. There we go. So, yep, that works. Not much more to that. And then see the instructions here. Yeah, we're calling it a consumables shelf. Yep, that's pretty much it. It just says it can sit on the table or it can mount on top of your machine. Interesting point though is that this does use T-nuts for mounting, and this printer, for example, doesn't have extrusion so there's no slots to put the nuts in. Of course this one already has one, but we'll see. I think my my Sunlu S8 printer actually came with a spool holder that I don't really like very much, so this will replace that. Okay, I'll put the screws in there and the instructions. So, alright, let's take a look at this. So, we've got a nice digital screen on the front. Looks like it must be a touch screen. This will hold 4 spools, which is why they sent me 4. And looks like we open up from the top. Something in there. Okay, inside we have power cord, some tubing, PTFE tube. What is this? Looks like some smaller pieces of PTFE and maybe some screws or something. Let's take a look at that closer. we go user guide, and that's it. So, let's see what is in here. And we got just, oh, I see. These are some smaller pieces of PTFE tube that can go into the holes here. Or we got the longer tube for the holes. And the other things in there are little plugs that can fill up the holes that are not currently in use. And then we've got some little metal clip things. Okay. Okay, so my plan for how we're going to test this out is Star Wars Day just recently passed, and I was actually hoping to get this video made by then, but that didn't happen. But we've got 4 different Yodas printed with each of these filaments. You see, these filaments are, this is high-speed PLA. Okay, this is PLA Meta yellow. This is their Easy ABS, the black Yoda there. And then this is some high-speed gray. So, what I'm going to do is, so we all know Yoda is from Dagobah, which is a very swampy, very humid planet or area. And so what I thought is, we don't want filament that's stored on Dagobah. We want filament that's stored on Tatooine, where Luke grew up. So, in the desert. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to take this and bring it to Dagobah, aka my bathroom, and run the shower for a long time to make it very humid. We can put all these in there. And then we'll do another print of these, see what happens to them. It'll probably get real stringy and the filament will get brittle, I'm guessing. And then we're going to run it through the machine and try to print these again and see what happens. And hopefully they'll look a lot better. Okay, so there's been a slight change of plans. I did put these in my shower, in my bathroom, with the shower running on hot for about 15 minutes. The room got really humid and foggy. My glasses got steamed up as soon as I walked in there. And actually, then I left it in there. I left them in there for about 4 hours or so. And then I took them out, and actually my bathroom door was a little stuck because the wood swelled. But then I took them out and I weighed them. I weighed them first before I put them in there, and I weighed them after and checked compared, and they were exactly the same. So I'm guessing that these just don't absorb that much moisture. Which is great for those. It doesn't help much for this though. So, I came across this TPU that I had been showing in a previous video, and this had been sitting out because unfortunately Creality does not include Ziploc bags with them. So it was just open, and it's been very humid in here lately. It's practically summertime now, and so I tried printing the Yoda. Stack those up there. I tried printing the Yoda with those, and I got this. It failed almost immediately on both of them. It was just a stringy blob mess. So let's try putting those two in the machine and see what it does. Okay, we've got this cell set up here. Let's see if I can reach around to turn it on. Okay, got the screen showing up. briefly. Okay, there's some kind of a icon here. Okay, that's power. Well, that's pretty cool. Okay, so let's put the filament in. Put the red one on this side. If I can lift it up. There we go. Okay. Alright, it's on the rollers. Boy, it really does keep the fan noise down when you close it. Right, and the blue one is already warm in there. Okay, it's closed up. Set to PLA. Let's see how we change that. Okay, I've got the guide here. Okay. Let's, okay. Okay, so here's how I'm setting the temperature. Is currently at 47, and I'm setting it at 52. But we can, change it that way. Let's see. Set. Okay, if I hit the Sunlu, says I can use that to change these glowing colors. It's not doing anything. Try this one. So I guess you don't tap there. So let's try and use these buttons. Yeah, so these up and down buttons will change the value for whatever is flashing. It seems to be going on and off or changing the speed. Okay. I'll set and change this to, let's see, you switch through a whole bunch of different types. At G, so this is TPU. So set it there. Okay, so I can see now the relative humidity is at 34%. What is the one below it? Okay, so it has modes, 1 or 2. Time control mode, mode 1, or humidity mode, mode 2. I'm not sure which one I want to use, but I'll leave it the way it is for now. Okay, so I guess we'll just leave it like this, and we'll check on it later. Alright, I'll show you a close-up of some of these Yodas. These were the yellow ones. Since they sent me this filament, I might as well show it to you in more detail. So, yep, here's the yellow one and the white one. I'm not sure how well this is coming out on camera. There's the gray one. This is actually pretty cool looking. That shininess really lets you see some of the cool details. And here's the Easy ABS one. It looks pretty cool too. Yeah, I love how that shine looks on there. But we've had another change of plans. Since none of these filaments seemed to work very well with getting humidity, I decided to print one of the teddy bears in TPU that I had modeled for a previous video. So I did not take any of the supports off or anything. The brim is still on there, just so that you can see how it really came out. There is a little bit of stringing. We can take a look in there. But I think that's kind of just the nature of TPU. And then I've got another one. This one is fresh off the build plate. Peel it off. And yep, so got kind of the same deal there. A little bit of stringing, not quite as much as the blue. This one, unfortunately, we had a little problem right above his eyes where it kind of split there. And I think that's because the filament kind of got stuck to itself on the spool, and I caught it just as it was happening and freed it up. And that might be something to consider when using any of these filament dryers, is that the filament might stick to itself on the spool. So, I don't know if I can get this off without nippers. Ooh. There we go. All right. I think I might have to cut these off. Oh, there's the top of his head coming off. There we go. We can get an idea of how he came out a little better. Gonna have to cut that off. Yeah, looks pretty good. He's not Yoda, and bears don't usually live in the swamp, but it came out pretty good, I think. Okay, so there is the Sunlu Filadrier S4. This is a really nice looking machine, and it really works well. I was really happy with the screen. Once I figured out how the screen works, really, it was a little bit confusing. Okay, so the instructions are a little vague, so here's basically how the screen works. Assuming you've got the switch turned on in the back, the screen will be on here, and we can see the power button there. Okay, and it turns on. And what was a little confusing was that I was under the impression that all of these things were touch sensitive, but what it really is just these four down here that are actual buttons. So what you'll want to do is hit the set, and you'll see one blinking, and then you can use these up and down arrows to change whatever that setting is. So if I want to change the type of filament I'm using, I can press set, 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 set until that one's blinking, and then press up or down to scroll between them or cycle between them. And if you want to turn it off, you have to double press this. Once I figured that out, I really liked the screen, and the drying worked really well. It stayed very warm inside there. I really didn't feel much heat coming out of here, so I was surprised when I opened the lid and you could really feel the warmth inside. So yeah, we took a look at the filament also as well, and the little spool holder there. And there was one other thing, is that inside here, underneath of the where the spools go, on each side there's a little latch. You can pop open a compartment and put in some of these silica gel packs. So if you want to keep your filament dry in here, but you don't necessarily want to have it on and using electricity all the time, you can just put some of those in there, and hopefully they would help to keep them dry. So when I was running it, I had moved it over. It was next to this printer, and I was just feeding the filament right out of one of these holes on the side directly into the printer. I did not use one of these tubes just because it was sitting next to the printer, so these tubes are quite long. It didn't really seem necessary. Yeah, but I had it in mode 2, so once it was already done drying, it would just automatically turn on every time the humidity reached a certain level. And I just left it in there printing for 3-4 hours, whatever it was. But yeah, I really recommend this dryer if you want to have 4 spools and you want to dry them and print directly out of it, and you don't mind having the extra space because it is a little bigger than a smaller filament dryer. But yeah, I recommend it. So I guess that's it. If you liked this video, please give it a like, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below if you have any questions. I will try to answer them, and I'll see you next time.